Oh, tell that story that you were telling me about your dad when he was driving.
Well, it's just that you were talking about... Well, I mentioned Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And the Forrest Gump types. When my dad was when he was a taxi driver...
Yeah.
You used to have to sort of do your bit for the local area.
Oh, God.
By taking the Forrest Gump people to Blackpool.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called now, the Forrest Gump people? Is that what the organisations that support them ask for them to be referred to?
A minibus with
Exactly.
life is a box of chocolates.
Yeah, exactly.
.com.
Well,
Forrest Gump types.
It must have been, so you worked with these people.
It was
yeah, the people with learning difficulties.
Yeah, and he used to get 5.
Coming home must have been a busman's holiday.
So he got 5 of them in the cab, and he had to go to Blackpool. And 4 of them were really good, you know, behaving themselves, didn't mess about, weren't fighting and stuff. But there was one who was just causing loads of trouble, and he couldn't control him.
Oh,
and what you've got to be able to do with people like that, you don't want them to get stressed out because it's not good for them. It stresses them out, and you could end up with a bit.
Thanks, Dr. Karl.
You could end up with a bit of a riot on your hands. So he thought, I'll nip this one in the bud right now. And he pulled up just on the outskirts of Blackpool, and he took the one out that was causing problems and put it in a wheelie bin.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise.
He did what?
Oh,
He did it for the good of the others. He put it in a wheelie bin. He was having a good time. He thought it was one of the rides.
Can you stop saying it?
Him.
Yeah.
He was having a good time, and once he calmed down, my dad went back and picked him up, and he was fine. He had a good
What,
day.
he left him in there the whole time the others were in Blackpool?
No, he left him there, not the whole day, probably about an hour and a half.
In a wheelie bin?
In a wheelie bin.
Why couldn't he get out?
Because, like, his arms were trapped on the thing. It's one of those...
What, he tied him up?
No, do you know, like, because he was a big fella, and, like, he managed to get him in so his arms were down the side like that, so he was a bit trapped.
Wasn't he screaming and crying and stuff?
He was making a bit of noise, but... do you know what I mean?
What you feel served him right?
Well, but anyway, I didn't really want to talk about it. You just brought it up because of Forrest Gump.
Did his family know about this? Is this the first time they'd have heard about this?
He didn't get asked to do it again. Because he had another problem similar to it where he had a little minibus, and it was his job to take a load of old women to the bingo hall, and it was miles away. And he took him there. There was no problem. About 10 old women in a minibus.
One of them was causing trouble, so he pulled over it.
No, right. So he took him there. Everything's fine. He dropped him off. They had a lovely night.
Yeah.
Right. They had a lovely night. Won a bit of cash. Coming back, it's a bit of a late night, and they all started moaning at him, going, "I want to be dropped off here. Take me there. I want to be dropped off first. I've got to get up early. Blah blah. You know, my husband's expecting me. I'm already late. Take me here first. Take me there." And he just pulled up in the middle of nowhere. Said, "Get out." And he made them get out, and they all called for taxis. They charged that company who was meant to be taking them home in the minibus, and he got the sack. But a similar sort of story. You can't be dealing with it when people don't sort of just calm down and like solve the situation.
Yeah.
They're just all like, "I want to be dropped off first. Take me here first." Take me.
Yeah. So he acts like a madman to counter that.
Ricky Gervais film review.
Sure.
Review. Right? Chosen Rain Man.
Rain Man. Okay. Now this has been on TV quite a few times, and it was a multiple Oscar winner.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, okay, right. Rain Man, it's got Tom Cruise in it, and he's alright, he's normal, but he finds out he's got a brother who's a bit mad. Dustin Hoffman is doing it, right? And it's meant to be. He's all weird, but he's meant to be, so it's good acting. Now, oh God, he needs to keep his brother, but they don't want him to have a brother, and he doesn't remember a lot, but he dropped him in the bath and burnt him when he was little, clumsy idiot. But then he finds out he can make a bit of money, so they get the same suits, and they go bet 2 for good, well, because he's got special powers. So he can know what the roulette. He wins that, and he drops some toothpicks. He knows how many there are. And he recognises the waitress just through the book. He's got all his football cards. Don't put them out of order. Don't go in the telephone box with him, he smells. And get him back in time for Jeopardy or watch it. Anyway, then he slap his head and get worried. Qantas don't crash. So he's got all that. And in the end, he doesn't, I don't think, but at least they've met each other.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Rain Man, a film about autism, which is strangely appropriate, I think, when you're reviewing it.
Anyway.
What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, 9.
Okay. Thanks very much for that. Were useful? Yeah? Have you seen the film before?
No, but I will now.
Okay, jolly good. Well, excellent.
You don't talk to anyone, do you, in the week? You just hide in your little sound booth thing, and you really don't talk to anyone, do you? Much?
Not really.
No.
I mean, you might call up.
Yeah.
But no, I keep myself to myself.
Yeah.
Then you don't get bogged down in the office politics and stuff.
Yeah. Is there a lot
Yeah.
of office politics here?
I don't know. I don't get involved in it.
Oh yeah. Proved your point.
So when we're away and we're like out of action, who, other than Suzanne, who will you talk to of the day?
How will you get a sort of feedback from the world? How will you get sort of like input and?
I always, if ever I've got like a question on anything, the internet's sat there and I can just go online and find out.
The
what I need to
internet
know.
is good,
It's brilliant.
but it's not all verified.
What do you mean?
It's not all verified.
It's not all necessarily factually accurate.
Anyone can put things onto the internet. It's it's freaks and things that put on
Well, here's
things
one, right?
like
Here's one that I read in the week, right?
Go on.
About this woman.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a punk, and to get her hair done like she wanted it,
super glue.
right? No, she got lard. Apparently, it's a popular thing. You might know. Put lard on your head,
Yeah.
and you put it in the oven. Now, apparently, the heat that you get from the oven is different from the sort of heat you get from an hairdryer, right? And she had to do that to get the style that she wanted. But anyway, she comes into money or whatever, treats herself to a microwave, right?
It's not true.
Opens the
Carl.
door, jams the things, like the little catch, so the microwave works. She jams it with a screwdriver or a knife or something.
Yeah.
Puts the microwave on, sticks her head in, boils her brain.
Don't be ridiculous.
Right? Well, why is that ridiculous?
Boils her brain.
She boiled her brain.
She boiled her brain.
And this is what's good about the internet. I went straight from that, and there was a subject about brains. And do you know that Russell Crowe, when he dies, is giving his brain to charity or something, some sort of some people who can do stuff
Right.
with it.
She gave hers to Pot Noodle.
Vesta.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
boiling
sort of
a
stuff.
skull.
Yeah.
That's not true. No.
It's not true, Carl.
It's the same as the woman who put her poodle in the microwave, isn't it? And all that.
Just urban myths.
They're urban myths.
But again, where does it start?
Someone made it up
Yeah.
for a laugh.
They're just too convenient urban myths. Everyone's you can tell an urban myth's not true because it's always this happened to a mate of mine, and when you say what happened then, they go, don't know, that was it. Was it? Was that it? Was it? Someone boiled a brain and that was it. There was no more story.
Well,
Were
Were there any dates,
Have you-
locations,
have you-
times?
I think it was in Belgium.
There's that one that a bloke, right, was going to get a phone call at 4 o'clock to find out if his business was, okay, right? And if he didn't get the phone call, he knew he was broke, destitute. So dead on 4 o'clock, the phone didn't ring, so he went up to the roof, his office, and he jumped off to commit suicide. And as he was passing his window, the phone was ringing.
Oh no.
Carl, it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Think it through.
Think it through. Who told that story? Who told that story? As he hit the pavement at 120 miles an hour.
He's the only person who could have known that series of incidents.
Also, why didn't
And
he
he's
wait?
dead.
As his life's at stake, why didn't he wait till 5 past? I say I'm going to give it 5 minutes just in
Just in case the lines are busy.
Yeah. And
businessman?
what sort of bloke goes out? I'll call you at 4. Okay, if your business. Well, call me anyway. No. If I don't call exactly 4, then no, you commit suicide. Commit suicide. I would, because if I don't call at 4, that's the end of it. Well, call me anyway. No, that's not the way I work. Why can't he just call me and tell me the other way? Well, I'm telling you how I do it. If you're bust, I don't call. Can't he just call to verify in case something goes wrong? What if it's engaged? It won't be engaged. Just commit suicide at 4, please. It didn't happen, Karl. I went on holiday after Christmas, yeah. And so did our mutual friend, Phil Bowker.
Yeah, good man.
He was in Lanzarote and he told me one of the funny... I don't know if I can tell this on the radio. I'll have to say the C word. I'll just go... It's in a sentence, so I just go, you see, when it comes, and you'll know that he's saying the terrible word. Just, didn't want to ruin the anecdote. Anyway, they're walking along one evening in Lanzarote, and there's lots of Brits there, apparently. And Phil overhears a sort of married couple arguing. They're having to go home a bit early. And she's saying to him, she went, for Christ's sake, every time we come out drinking, you always shit yourself. right?
Wow.
Always, not once. So he's going, oh, I've told you, he said, it's not the drink, it's the weather. She went, the weather. You'll be blaming the food next, you see. I don't think they should have got married.
Wow.
Or when did you think the shitting themselves started? Must have been after the marriage, because if you're courting and they go, went out with Derek again, did you last night? Yeah, how was it? The evening was lovely, the meal was nice, but he shut himself again. That's 5 dates, 5 different heaps of shit.
But I think I can change him.
I think I can change him, yeah. It must have happened after the marrying. Or he just might have think, oh God, or he's got to that age where I think, look, I'll just empty it when I get home.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep going up and going to the toilet, you know.
It's the ice that does it.
Yeah, Karl is right, I think. It is the ice.
What do you mean?
People forget, you know, they say, oh, don't drink the water when you're on holiday, and they don't. They drink, you know, they buy Evian and stuff.
Oh, I
But
see.
they forget about the ice.
The ice cubes, you're right, in a bar. Made from tap water.
And that can do it, can it?
Yeah.
But what she said every time you're drinking, didn't she?
I assume that she wasn't drinking ice then.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it just happened to
Yeah,
him?
let's be honest, everyone that goes on holiday doesn't end up crapping themselves.
Yeah, they usually make it to a toilet.
He does it every time he drinks, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, apparently.
Just don't let him carry the baguettes.
Ah, he's good, isn't he?
Oh, Karl comes out with something.
He does now and again,
High
doesn't
five,
he?
Karl. That was sweet, man.
Yeah,
Sweet.
nice one.
Yeah, respect you.
Well, I told you that time my brother-in-law, he was moving out of his place, and I think moving in with my sister, and I was about like I don't know, 13, and so he was about 30, and I moved in, and he brought round all his records when he was storage to leave them at our house. Right, and he had all these old sort of records, 50s and 60s records, no, I was right, and they put them upstairs, and I was looking through them, and it's just all like Elvis stuff and Beatles stuff, and there was a mate of mine who loved Elvis, okay, and he had loads of chemicals, yeah, he had loads of chemicals, and I was into chemistry, and he said, let's swap me some chemicals for them, so I sort of nicked about 5 Elvis singles, and I got all these chemicals, and then the guilt just hit me. I just thought, well, he's going to notice that, and one night I just came downstairs and I confessed to my mum, and she went, all right, well, I won't tell him, but you've got to be good. And it's sort of like I was just really, really good for a year. And then I remember when I was about 18, my brother was talking about it, and he said, did you ever play those records I left for you?
Brilliant.
He told my mum, he said, these are for Ricky. She just didn't tell me.
She was sharp, wasn't she?
She used opportunism there.
Oh, that's genius.
And that was it. That's why I was good.
But you've never stolen anything since, have you?
No, I don't.
Except that spate of shoplifting after that to teach your mum a lesson.
yeah. Well, I went round and arson. No, I did. I just couldn't believe it. It was terrible.
I remember. I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting.
Well,
and when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one day, right, that my mate Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you. And she said, what about? She said, I don't want to talk about it over the phone. So she goes, oh right, well, yeah, come round tonight then. So anyway, my mum sees me, she don't want to be in an awkward position and like be a bit embarrassed and what have you, so she sees me and she goes, right, Anthony's mum's coming round, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
So I go, oh God, I said, I've been nicking stuff. So she goes, like what? So not big stuff, I've had a few calculators and Mars bars and stuff.
How many? I'll just work it out. Hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So,
how many calculators do you need?
So it was when that phase.
You failed maths.
Everyone wanted a calculator. It was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right. Oh yeah.
In Manchester a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So anyway, so I told her all this and I confessed to
Computers will make it there one day.
I confessed to
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
Confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round. She only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, "Oh, I don't like asking. I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?"
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me.
That's great.
And it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you?
And he went, hold on, let's just work out the interest on that. Bank at 10%. She'll owe you £4.40. Oh,
so your mum was a loan shark.
yeah.
And did she mention
She
that
went,
you've been nicking stuff with that other? Because what I'm saying is, presumably you got your mate in trouble.
No.
Right, you didn't.
That's great.
Music that matters.
Does sound weird to you?
XFM.
What do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here.
Well, isn't it just choosing the eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that where will it lead? Where will it end, Karl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? Who's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a
She
very.
looked like a man in a dress.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything. And I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What does she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Look like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make
Get
a place
some
look
jiff.
nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Yeah. Whoa, Neddy.
whoa.
Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did they
believe
get
it,
a
right?
horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse do it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of leather?
Right? And,
Oh, that's great.
I'd
Did
been
Big
out.
Jake come looking
Exactly.
for it?
I'd been out.
Oh.
Nicked
No,
away.
sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. All right, then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Karl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't
I
stop!
can't stop it. Open the patio door as well. I'll be...
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
That's why the family didn't have any money. They'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't
Exactly.
think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Karl, in case they're listening.
Yeah. And
They could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh.
So I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And,
Yeah.
and sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge,
Reading a paper.
just like walking around.
Oh, God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is
And I went-
genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this.
Wait a
Because
minute,
it's always
wait a
going to
minute.
just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's
It
play a
gets
track,
deeper
Karl.
and deeper. It's like
come
an
on, Karl.
onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and it's got a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah. We were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto...
genetically modified babies, but
and then
somehow...
Karl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto... He was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So
didn't you?
the mother was a right pig, apparently. I don't know if that's
you
relevant.
don't need to go that far.
But
But
well,
what
go
I'm
on.
trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What does
What
she
a
look
picture
like?
it
Who
is.
did she look like?
Bit of a... And no disrespect to her. Bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it was going to be Paul. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I never got that close to it.
Okay, all right.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her
No,
husband?
her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse,
Yeah, from I don't know where. I think it was some stables down the road or something.
and they kept the horse in the house with
They
them.
kept it in the house.
Did
But
they
didn't
get
have it
caught?
for long.
No.
Sorry, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse
No,
in there.
what happened was I was. They did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money. And they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But I don't know. I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's
I'm
just
a
a good
charity
money-making
here.
idea.
So-
You're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some, because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them,
Yeah.
got a tray,
Yeah.
had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut? You didn't just cut them and stick them in the
Yeah, they
soil.
wouldn't have survived. But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a bit rough. So as I went
The
up,
horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
so I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet,
Yeah. A horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
and,
Yeah.
and the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
Central heating.
3-piece suite and
Sure.
a telly and that?
Telling you that.
No, but I was saying this the other day,
And an Atari.
right? I was walking through London. the
Commodore
other day.
64,
Yeah.
rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, "They've got that dog is happier than most dogs
Right.
because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that...
No, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for
Yeah.
itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
That's
what
by
we were
the
talking
by.
about. Yeah. So anyway, this family, who's a bit what we were talking about. It was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Right. Now, what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that,
Yeah.
right?
It could happen, Rick.
So,
Come on, work with him.
so you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever,
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
and get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now, the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things,
Yep.
right? Now, you look at Stephen. You look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm
that.
a good dad.
All the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese, right? So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily and that sort of thing. Now, when this family,
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
right? This family who had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid. But as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around. It used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
Now-
Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy...
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
and chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow. Whoa. Live.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl.
The XFM Vault. The Ricky Gervais Show featuring Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
XFM.
The XFM Vault. The Ricky Gervais Show featuring Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
XFM.
Can I just tell you a story that Karl told me a couple of weeks ago?
Is this another ghost story? Another
Yeah,
spooky
it is,
story?
yeah. I called him out. I was, what are you doing? He said, I said, I've just been reading ghost stories again. He said, you don't believe in them, but how do you explain this? Right, I went, go on. He said, I'll tell you as he told me. He went, bloke, right, just sitting at home, doing, watching telly with his cat. And the phone rings, and it's a bloke going, is that fire in your oven okay now? 'Cause your wife called. And he went, Karl went, well, 1, there was no fire in the oven. 2, he wasn't married. I went, right. Go on. He went, well. Then, right, there was a knock at the door, and there was 2 sort of people in sort of white coats, and they came and said, we've come about that fire. Your wife called us. He went, 1, there isn't a fire in my oven, and 2, I'm not even married. Right? And he said they saw the cat, and they looked at the cat. It looks a bit weird. The cat came out. Nothing. And he said, and then he went back, sat down. Phone rings, and they said, did they sort out the fire in the oven that your wife told us about?
Oh.
He went, 1, there is no fire in my oven. 2, I haven't got a wife. And Karl went, what do you think of that? I went, that's not it. He went, yeah. I went,
That's the end of the
I
story.
went, what? He went, well, how'd you explain that? I went, explain what? I thought he was going to say, a year later he got married, but she died in an oven fire. Right? I thought it was going to be that. And I went,
That's
what?
people winding him up.
Yeah, or someone did report a fire in the oven, and their name was Johnson, and they looked up Johnson, they got the wrong thing, it was the gas board, and they sent it round to the wrong person, right? You know, he went, yeah. I said, I explained it to him, he went, yeah. Why did they look at the cat funny?
Oh, man alive, Karl. This is really weird, right? I was in my house once, right, and the doorbell rang.
Yeah.
Right, I opened the door, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I looked across the street,
There's some
right, and
kids
there were some
running
kids running away.
Yeah.
Now, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
There was another time, right, where, like, I opened the door and there was a bloke goes, you've ordered pizza. I went, I haven't ordered pizza. And I heard my mate upstairs giggling and putting the phone down.
Yeah. How do you explain that? Karl, seriously, why did you tell me that story? What did you think that was weird about that?
The fact that it was 3 different people.
Is this all the information? Is that the entire story?
It was 3 different people.
Did you fall
hassling
asleep
him
and not read
about
the end?
A fire that didn't happen, about a wife that didn't exist, and a cat that didn't look happy.
Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, Karl. What? I mean, why did they look at the cat funny?
Because cats don't like spirits, do they?
What? The other blokes were ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
So
explanation.
these are kind of beadle about type ghosts. These are ghosts who walk the earth as the undead, just winding people up slightly.
That's lovely. Lycanthropy.
What's lycanthropy?
Isn't that werewolfism?
Really?
Isn't it? Do you believe in that, Karl?
They've found stuff, haven't they? They've found kids walking about who are all airy because they've sort of grew up with wolves and that.
Yeah.
So
No. You see, 2 things there. You cannot take on acquired characteristics genetically. So if you grew up with wolves, it wouldn't suddenly make you hairy.
There's been pictures, there's been stories on it, and I reckon most people a lot of people have seen the stories. It's a popular thing.
You mean the kids that are born hairy?
No, there's kids who have been born airy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
No, but listen, and they walk around on all 4s, and they drink milk from a saucer.
Steve, this is
No,
too
remember that time with the maggot in the head?
Yeah.
And getting out with bacon, and you were like laughing, and then people called up and said, "Yeah, I've seen that. I've read about that.
Yeah,
this is the same thing."
Have you seen an XFM listener up close? Have you ever looked?
They
studied?
drink milk from a saucer.
Yeah, they've got to be kept on leads. People who listen to this show.
There's no point me telling you about stuff.
There is. It's comedy
You see,
gold.
when you were at school, did you keep arguing with the teacher saying you're talking rubbish there?
Teachers didn't teach us about werewolf boys and ghosts. They taught us maths. God, right. Tell the story about the manhole cover.
Right, in the same magazine, as the one with the cat and the fire and that.
Don't tell me that story again, it gives me the shivers.
Yeah, a cat that's got a weird expression on his face is against God.
Anyway, this isn't a scary story. This was just like physics. Physics.
Yeah.
It was going on about the nuclear bomb and how powerful it is. And they put a manhole cover on top of one.
Okay.
Blew it up.
Yeah.
Never saw the manhole cover again.
Man alive, Carl. Unexplained.
What's going on there? Something weird is happening there.
If anyone has ever seen that manhole cover, please get in touch. We'd love to know where it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. What sort of experiment is that? I imagine all these scientists on multi-billion-pound research budgets, they're going, we test everything. What would you do to a manhole cover? Don't know.
That's like letting a couple of students
yeah, exactly,
have control of a nuclear
Do you reckon it can send a traffic cone into orbit? Go on then, put it on there. I love that. Imagine that. What value is that? I might tell you what we could do. We could put the manhole cover on it and aim it, and then blow the bomb up, and the manhole cover would have someone's eye out. Fire it. See if you can fire manhole covers off the nuclear bomb. I love it. Tie bangers to a bomb. See if it's louder. Oh God.